Welcome back to Learn Economia. In this video, we will be learning a very new theory that is disguised unemployment theory, or it is known as the theory of disguised unemployment. So, having said so, let's go to the theory. Before going into the theory in specific, let's understand what unemployment is. Unemployment, as we all know, it's a serious problem which underdeveloped countries like India are facing today. So, when you say unemployment, actually this is not only with respect to underdeveloped economies or developing economies, but also many developed economies face the very same problem. But it is serious with respect to the underdeveloped economies or developing economies. Now, unemployment, this is something which indicates a situation where the total number of job vacancies are very much less compared to the total number of job seekers in the country. Okay, so there is a mismatch between the demand for labor and supply of labor. The supply of labor is so high, but the demand for labor is less. So this kind of an over domination of supply of labor is something that lead to what is known as an unemployment situation, especially in the developing economies or underdeveloped economies. Okay. Now, this is a situation which is characterized by the existence of able-bodied persons who are willing to work, but these people are not able to find any work. As a result, what happens is that there exists a huge wastage of manpower resources, because these people, many of these people have skill, they have potential, they have capability, etc. But what happens is that since these people are not given employment, or since these people are not employed, the skills and experience or capability and potential of these people are not used for the development of the country. So this is a serious problem as far as a developing economy is concerned. Now, if you look into the case of India, you can see that India is, as we all know, it's an underdeveloped economy, and or rather than saying an underdeveloped economy, we can say that India is a developing economy, because we could see that the growth rate of the country. So please don't take into consideration the scenario of COVID, but if you set aside the case of COVID and all, you can see that the country is developing, the growth rate is improving and all. And so as a result, it is very important to understand how the case of India is different from that of the other developing economies, especially when you compare the case of unemployment of India and the other developing economies. So if you look into the case, if you look into the viewpoint expressed by Lord Keynes, he actually describes unemployment in advanced economies as a this is something which happens as a result of deficiency of effective demand, and this means that demand for labor is something that falls because the demand for industrial product also falls. The explanation we all know, right? When the demand for the product produced by a particular company falls, what happens is that the company will automatically reduce its production. As a result, what happens is that so if it is reducing its production, it doesn't need the quantity of labor which it was used or it had been using before. So it will cut short its demand for labor, and this will affect the employment market, and this will lead to unemployment situation in the market. So unemployment is so it's a problem that is very dangerous situation, and this situation is considered to be dangerous with respect to not only India, but also this is considered to be a global phenomena or a global problem. That is what we could say as far as we can explain unemployment. So this problem of unemployment is it is something that is increasing, especially in economies like India and China and all, because we know that the population of these two countries, India and China, the population for India and China, the population is increasing day by day, right? So in these economies, the unemployment situation will definitely pose a serious problem, and which will definitely affect the growth rate of the economy and also the development of the economy of these countries. Now coming to disguised unemployment in specific. So what does disguised unemployment mean? Disguised unemployment is a situation when the number of persons working in a field is more than the number of persons actually required. As a result, here what happens is the marginal productivity of some of the workers would be zero. I'll explain a situation. For example, if you just consider an agricultural field. For example, this agricultural field or agricultural land is owned by a family, okay, and the family consists of almost like 13 members, and this is a small plot of land, and only this land or cultivating this land or working of land is actually, this could be done by 5 people, okay. And what about the people who the rest of the people, the 8 people? I mean 13 minus 5 is 8, right? So what about the rest of the people? These people are also engaged in the agricultural production of this particular land, but actually these people are not needed for this land. Even if you remove these people from this agricultural land, what happens is that will not affect the product, or that will not affect the productivity of the land. So but if you ask these 8 people whether you are employed or not, these people will say that yes, we are employed, we are engaged in the agricultural land. So as a result, you could see that each and everyone is employed in the land, but if you take some people back from this agricultural land, that won't affect the total productivity. And also you can see that not every person who are working in this agricultural land is putting their entire effort for increasing the productivity of land. Some people are doing something and other person is doing something, but that is actually not increasing, that is not, it is definitely increasing the productivity, but that is not these people are not actually working as their not actually making use of their full potential. That is it. So as a result, you could see that even if you remove some people from the field, that won't affect the total production, or that won't affect the productivity, okay. So so what you could understand is that in reality these people are actually if you look at the case, these in the entire 13 people are employed, but in reality these people are, some of the people are unemployed because they are not making use of their full potential, okay. So if you look at the case like for this is the example that I have already given, okay. Now coming to the case of underdeveloped economies, you can see that it is an economy, or these are economies where you could find labor surplus. So as a result, there would be unemployment. A lot of labor are not being used for the development of the country, and these people are gone as waste. Their skills, their potentials, their capabilities are not used for the development of the economy, and as a result all these things go as waste. So this surplus labor actually they are not given any kind of opportunities to contribute to the development of the nation, and as a result there have been many theories in the arena of disguised unemployment, okay. And it was the economist Ragnar Nurse who has contributed a lot to the arena of disguised unemployment. According to his theory, disguised unemployment is something that implies a disguised saving potential. If the proper efforts are made, it can be used for economic development, and this potential is actually a source of capital formation. Now says that surplus labor, or the disguisedly unemployment laborers, they live with their joint family and are fed with the labor of their relations who are productive, okay. And these people actually who live in the joint family system or who own joint agricultural holdings, these people must be relatives, okay. And they won't search for any additional employment or which produces any extra output. The people who belong to a single family, actually when they own a single plot of land, and when all these people are employed in this single plot of land, what happens is that there exists disguised unemployment, and these people actually they are not at all concerned about finding some work outside this agricultural land to produce some other output or to produce some extra output. Now looking into the characteristic features of the disguised unemployment, you can see that this is something that is confined to people who are self-employed. Mainly you could see that it could be seen in those areas where people are self-employed. Okay. And also this is invisible to an extent. If you ask the person, I have told you an example of 13 people. If you remove the 8 people from land, that won't affect the productivity of land. But if you ask these 8 people whether we are employed or not, they will say that yes, we are employed in the agricultural land. But you can see that their food potential is not being made, food potential is not being made use of. So as a result, you can see that this is something that is invisible. It's a kind of unemployment that is invisible in the economy. Okay, if you look at the case of industries and all, you could see that unemployment is a glaring waste of resources, and this is harmful to all. And in the agriculture sector, it is very difficult to single out disguising unemployed persons, and also this requires some kind of quantitative measurement of disguised unemployment, and that too is very much complicated. And this is applicable in the industrial sector also in the times of deflation. But comparatively it is more evident in the agriculture sector. Okay, now coming to the causes of disguised unemployment, you can see that rigidity of essential factors of production is something that influence disguised unemployment, and something that promotes disguised unemployment. For example, the national enhancement like land and other gifts of nature, we know that it is something that is of limited quantity, and these fail to cope up with the increasing tempo of population. We know that when population increases, we cannot increase the land availability because it is something that is fixed. So as a result, this will cause a demand and supply mismatch. And demographic theories, if you look at these theories, we could see that these theories testify that underdeveloped economy always suffers from explosion, increase in manpower that is compelled to crowd over the limited natural resources. Okay, now the second reason is the social setup. In some countries where the industrial feelings are on the tide, disguised unemployment occur. Actually, this does not occur, but in countries where the family trades predominates, you can see that disguised unemployment is something that is very frequent. Now coming to the third cause, that is constant technology. In underdeveloped economies, technology is something that is very much primitive in the sense that traditional technology is used, no modern technology is used. As a result, the possibility of overemployment beyond a solution point, and that is the situation. So here in such an economy, technology, when if it is fast changing, so that is fast changing technology is something that is out of this constant technology or constant technology situation. So when in a scenario of constant technology, what happens is that there would be disguised unemployment. Now if you look around your surroundings, or if you look around, you could see that there have been various causes for disguised unemployment. If there are many causes, then what happens is that there would be many measures for removing disguised unemployment. As per Professor Nurse, he has suggested some methods. He says that disguised unemployment is actually a blessing in disguise. He says that the extra labor should be withdrawn and should be engaged in the industries. So he is actually referring to agriculture sector. He is saying that if there is disguised unemployment in the agriculture sector, just remove some people from the agriculture sector, or just transfer some laborers from agriculture sector to the industrial sector. As a result, disguised unemployment can be removed from the agriculture sector. So that not only this disguised unemployment is removed from the agriculture sector, but also these people are transformed to the industrial sector, so that industrial sector can develop and industrial sector can produce more products and all. And you can see that in the family farm and all, these people are mostly not paid, and the family output is actually divided between these people, or divided among these people, so that will create problems and all. But it's better to transfer these people from the agriculture sector to the industrial sector if these people are unemployed or disguisedly unemployed. Okay, and the second measure is that the population growth should be related through population planning control of immigrant encouraging migration with even distribution of population over regions. You can see that in some areas there will be more population growth rate, and some other areas there will be less population. So in this situation, what you have to do is that you have to migrate some people from those areas where population is high to those areas where population is low. The third reason is that more virgin resources should be farmed out within the economy. That is industrial, for example, industrial raw materials, if it is hidden in the country, just explore it, or just make use of that resources, so that this will lead to economic growth of the country. And the fourth explanation is underdeveloped economies should not copy blindly the technology of the advanced economy. So that is something very thought-provoking. But you know that we have two sets of economies, developing economies and developed economies. So it is very important to understand that whatever the developed economy does, it is something that may not be copyable for developing economies, because developing economies have their own limitations, their own constraints. So these economies have to understand their own limitations and their own constraints first. Then only they can try whether any kind of technology is feasible for these people. It is better, rather than blindly following the technology adopted by a developed economy, the developing economy should first understand its constraints. Then it should think whether it is feasible for them to adopt the technology adopted by the developed economy. So labor intensive techniques is mostly good for developing economies, because labor is abundant in developing economies. At the same time, you will see that the economies like developed economies and all these economies mainly use capital intensive technologies, because they have these economies have the problem of labor scarcity. So for these economies, it's better they adopt modern technology using the capital intensive method. Now coming back to what Knox has said, he says that labor this is which is unproductive because of the state of scarce unemployment, and these people when there is scarce unemployment, these people will become unproductive, but they can be made productive if you go for construction of capital projects and all, and which would form capital assets and enhance the production of capacity of the nation. And he says that surplus labor is taken away from agriculture sector and used for building capital projects like dams, irrigation rods, etc. But though we have set some suggestions, or we have specified some suggestions to remove the problem of scarce unemployment, there have been many difficulties in mobilization of saving potential in India, especially in developing economies like India and all. You could see that there have been a number of practical difficulties in using scarce unemployed workers. The first difficulty is that these workers are mostly unskilled, and also capital formation requires both skilled and unskilled persons. When a large quantity or a large number of these people are unskilled, then skill training or skill development programs, etc., should be conducted to these people to make them skilled. And also this is a time consuming process, and this will also lead to spending of money and expenditure in terms of money, time, effort, etc. So that is one of the difficulties. Okay, now you can see that if the vertical saving is to be effective, saving through utilization of scarce unemployed person should not be any leakage of unsubsidized fund. Okay, that is by transferring some persons to other occupation from the agriculture sector. Those who used to support the dependents may also increase their consumptions. Now thirdly, you could see that the Knox himself said that scarcely unemployed people, they are incapable of personal identification by the very definition of scarce unemployed. But he did not realize the implication of this. Yes, this is true, because these people some people may realize that these people are scarcely unemployed, and this will actually influence their identity. And But some people actually they don't realize that these people are disguisedly unemployed, and that will definitely have its implications for lack of personal identification and all. Labor market, wage rate, etc. will have its implication upon the people who are disguisedly unemployed. So thank you for watching this video. Please like, share and subscribe this channel for more videos. Thank you.